Okay, here I am again, guys, with another episode of Jake's Metal Chat. This is episode 10. Doing it from Zoom again because I was going to do this one as a live stream, but then some of the dialogue that I get cuts out, and some of the chats that you hear. Ken's right in the room. That's my next guy. I'll introduce him in a minute, so I'll better get him in, and hopefully his camera's on. Connecting audio. Hello. Damn it. There he is.
Hey, Jake.
What's up, Ken? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Well, a bit better now. I've had some food. Now I've got a beer, so I'm all good.
that's good. It's only about lunchtime here right now, so I'm sure I'll have some beers a bit later this evening. I'm sure.
Well, it's like beer o'clock here right now. Usually like 4 o'clock. Usually it starts, but I'm having mine just after 6.
Beer 30 anytime, right?
Yeah, always beer o'clock. Well, at festivals, beer o'clock is usually when you get up, so like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time you get up at. So yeah, welcome to Jake's Metal Chat.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you on, and you started going back to work, so it was kind of difficult for a bit. But you're here now, so that's great.
Awesome.
This is episode 10.
Oh, I'm number 10. Awesome.
You're number 10 because
that's a good round number.
That's good. Yeah, because I had David Gregor from Modest Skull on the first one.
Yep, I saw that. Yep.
That was a live stream.
Yeah, I think I've watched all of your episodes. I've seen.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I've watched them all. Saw the one with John McEntee from Incantation.
Yeah, he was called
the one with Internal Bleeding.
Yeah, Chris.
Saw that one. Yep, Chris. I know you had a couple other friends. Last one, you had a couple other friends from a band, local band.
Yeah, one's Escobedo, they're from Gloucester, and the other one, Jackal's Backbone, and they're from a place called Stevenage.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, no, I've watched all your episodes. So yeah. So again, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know who this man is, this is Ken. He has a channel on YouTube called Ken's Death Metal Crypt, which he doesn't call his channel. He just calls it the channel. And as you can see behind him, he's got a bunch of CDs and vinyl and posters and whatever else is there.
Yeah, this is the Crypt. This is what I call
the Crypt.
It's come to known as the Crypt. I didn't technically give it that label. I think others have given it the label as the Crypt, which is fine by me. Great label. So
it's just like this is the Crypt. It's like, what? Cool.
Yep.
I'm going to just call it the Crypt now. Yeah. And well, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some metal, and
absolutely my favorite subject. And Hellhammer. I like it. I got the same shirt. It's somewhere in a box, I think.
I bought this from someone on the marketplace here on Facebook, but the sleeves were already cut off, so we cut the sleeves off. So I just got it like this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Same with an Immortal shirt.
Can't go wrong with Hellhammer.
Oh no! This is before Celtic Frost.
Absolutely.
Like way before that, and then because everyone calls them like an early black metal band. I can see why, because I like the
imagery.
Basically the imagery, not the music itself. Because they changed their style all over the place. It went it was like thrashy and in places, and then some people was like, "Oh, that's very death metal." I was like, "Well, okay, you want to call it death metal?"
Yeah.
And then black metal and a bit of doom bit later on when they ended with their first album, their last album.
Yeah, I always considered Hellhammer more on the death metal side of things. Same with Celtic Frost. I always considered them a little more deathly in their approach than black metal or anything else. So I always consider those bands and more towards the death metal side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. So where did your journey begin with metal and music in general, should I say?
Well, I'll I'll try and give you the short version so I don't bore all of your viewers. But it's many. So I come from a large family, and we were a very well-rounded music family. I have nine brothers and sisters, 8 of which are older than me. I only have one younger brother, so I'm number 9 of 10 children.
Oof.
And all my older, and I'll be 50 this year, so my older brothers and sisters, some of them are 10, 13, 12, 11, 10 years older than me. But growing up, in the 70s, I was born in 1970, so growing up in the 70s, a lot of my older brothers and sisters had a very wide taste in music. I mean, they listened to everything from Motown to country music. My parents were big country western fans. They liked country. There was a little bit of rock. One of my sisters did have some hard rock albums, but mostly it was like, top 40 kind of pop stuff at the time from the 70s. A lot of, Beatles, stuff like that. So growing up, I heard a lot of different music. So one of our most prized possessions as a family was our stereo, was our turntable stereo. And this stereo was very important to us because we weren't a very wealthy family by any means. So that piece of equipment was very precious to us because I have very fond memories that on Saturday evenings after dinner time, my parents would allow all of us kids to spin one side of a record. And, of course, that would take quite a while with 10 kids. So
10 kids, yeah.
Yep, everybody got to spin one side of a record. So I have very fond memories of doing that on Saturday evenings with my brothers and sisters. And I always kind of tended towards, I had a sister, she's about 4 years older than me. So she's closest to age to me, age-wise. She's close to me in proximity of age. But she had hard rock records. She had like AC/DC, Van Halen records, and Ted Nugent. I always, whenever it was my turn to spin a record, I didn't have any records of my own at the time. So I would always kind of borrow one of her records. And I don't know why I leaned towards those records. I just did. So I'd maybe put on a Van Halen record, Diver Down, something like that, an AC/DC record, some, Highway to Hell, something like that. I believe she even had a couple of Rush records like 2112, Hemispheres. I put those records on. I just always kind of gravitated towards those records. But eventually, it wasn't until the summer of 1983, I was 12 years old, and we lived close to a department store, kind of like a Target or a Walmart is today.
Yeah.
And one of my older sisters asked me to go to the store with her. She wanted to go look at some things at the store. Well, my parents installed a very deep work ethic in all of us. And we had jobs ever since I was 8 years old. We had paper routes. We used to shovel snow in the winter. We would cut grass in the summer. We lived around a lot of elderly people who needed help keeping up some of their yards and homes and things like that. We were a delivery service. We ran lots of errands on our bikes. My parents made us get jobs at a very young age. So with that, of course, jobs pay you money. So I always have a little bit of money in my pocket as a kid, which was a big deal back then. So I remember the summer of 1983, my sister asked me to go to this particular department store to go with her and look at some things. So we go to the store. We're in the store for a little while, and we're getting ready to leave the store. As we're literally about ready to leave, she asked me, let's go over here. I just want to look at something real quick. She goes over to the section where is the music. They had this one kind of corner of the store where it was all the music and had a few bins of records. And on the one wall, they had the cassettes and the 8 tracks. On another wall, they had posters and other music paraphernalia. And she just starts looking through some of the records. Well, I didn't really have anything else to do, so I started doing the same thing. I just started looking at records. And one record in particular caught my eye. I just picked it up just because of the drawing on the cover. I didn't have any intentions of buying the record. I just literally lifted the record out to look at it, to look at the cover. And my sister immediately told me to put it down, put it away, don't buy it, don't look at it. It's devil music. It's cursed, and, just read me the riot act. Well, in my rebellious nature, I told her, you can't tell me what to do with my money because it's my money.
It's your money. You see.
I could spend it on whatever I want.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I took the record right up to the cash register. I had just enough money with about 32 cents left.
Oof, 32 cents.
Spent my entire week's of paper out money on this record. The thing is, Jake, you could have asked me what record I just bought. I couldn't have told you what it was. I didn't know the name of it. I didn't know what the band was on it. I had no idea what I was buying. I just bought it because my sister told me not to buy it. So the whole way home, she kind of yelled at me, told me, "You're going to be in trouble. You know, that's devil music." Gave me the whole riot act.
Oh, God. Yeah,
so, of course, I took the record home. And lo and behold, Saturday night is turntable night, for the family. So I proudly take my record up to the turntable when it's my turn, and I put the record on. And I'll be honest, I thought it was the worst music I've ever heard in my life.
That happens at first.
I didn't think it was music. Because I was so used to hearing other things, and then I hear this.
Exactly.
It was nothing like I had ever heard before. Very, very different, and I thought it was absolutely awful. Of course, my brothers and sisters teased me about spending my hard-earned money on this record, so I had to say I liked it.
As siblings do.
Yep, and I had to say, I like it, but I really didn't.
It's just like, I like it. But really, like,
just to save face.
Why did I pick this up? I wasted my money on this.
Exactly. So I had to say I liked it, but I really didn't. So
you really didn't.
as the days and weeks and weekends and anytime we got turntable time, I would put this record on because my brothers, especially a couple of my two brothers that are closest to me in age, they were really reading me the riot act about wasting my money on this terrible record. But the more I started putting the record on, the more I would look at the cover, I would read the lyric sheets, I would look at the back of the record, see the image of the band.
Yeah.
The more I listened to the record, the more I looked at it, especially the imagery of the band, I started to understand the music, and I started to like the music.
Yeah.
And that band was Venom, and that record that I bought was Welcome to Hell.
Yep.
That was my first. Yeah, that was my first venture into heavy metal. I was never, like I said, one of my sisters had some rock records. We had Kiss. Like I said, Van Halen, AC/DC. But even for that, then all of a sudden you hear Venom for the first time. It's a bit of a system shock.
Different territory from
absolutely
bands like Rush and Kiss, and I'm going to mention another band. I don't know if any of your siblings listen to them, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, I think one of my sisters did. I think we did have a couple Fleetwood Mac records. Yeah,
I do like Fleetwood Mac. I got Rumours on vinyl because I got a record shop, not a record shop, a record fair.
Yeah,
I picked it up with Hard and Heavy by Anvil as well.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's a good record.
So I thought, get that, and I found Blood Feast as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so thought I'd just chime in there since we're talking about records.
Yeah. So that was it, and the more I listened to it, the more I loved it, and from there I started looking for bands. I had an older brother who said, "Those are the bands you see in the magazines." What magazines? So he's telling me about these magazines.
Yeah,
that's when I got introduced to the world of metal magazines, and I started looking through those, and I started finding bands that looked like Venom, and then that's kind of when.
There's a lot of people that either dressed up like Venom or Venom took it from somewhere else. I'm not sure, but then you get plenty of bands that wear the same sort of outfits Venom wore in their live sets and music videos and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's. But I didn't come up with this phrase, but to quote a good friend of mine, I don't think we choose metal. I think metal chooses us. And on that day in 1983, metal chose me to be one of its warriors.
I was like me in 2003. That it chose me.
It chooses us.
So 20 years after you got into it, I got into it.
And then here I am.
Well, I would say, here I am, but it's in my cupboard. When I have a place of my own, it's all going to be surrounding me.
You'll get there. I mean, this is my life's work, Jake. Remember, I'll be 50 years old this year, so that's 38 years of collecting metal. You're eventually you're going to have a collection too. So, that's, I'm sure of it. You just keep collecting, and
Yeah,
eventually.
I bought a bunch of CDs just over the past like months and weeks and days and stuff, and I've like, because my CD collection now is in alphabetical order.
Sure.
So I've got like A's all the way up to W's, and I don't think I got any Z's. So it's all the way up to there. And then the bands that have numbers in them, so it's like, where do they go?
Right. I always put them at the end, I think. I put the band numbers at the end.
They're like 1349 or...
Exactly. I put them at the end. But yeah, I keep my stuff alphabetized too, because with so
just
many...
easier.
Exactly. With so many CDs and records, I mean, if I don't keep it alphabetized, I'm never going to find...
Yeah, because I used to stick them in my cupboard, and like, I should really alphabetize these.
Yeah.
So then I put my phone on because I got Spotify, put in my little speaker, and just sort all the CDs out, even though it was just stressful. Because I was like, where does this go? It's like, oh, I forgot to put this in here. So it's like, oh, Mortician and Master didn't go in the M's.
Yeah, it's just easier to do. That's my opinion. It's just easier finding stuff if you have it alphabetized.
Yeah, I think I had a similar sort of experience of getting into different music, because my mum's into Queen and Frank Sinatra, because of her mum, my nan, and Nat King Cole, and all the Rat Pack guys, which includes Sinatra.
Sure.
She like Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, so I listened to all that growing up.
Yeah.
And my dad, on the other hand, is more Bill Withers, Dire Straits.
Oh, cool.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang.
Yeah, my sisters had some of those records, that like Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire. A couple of my sisters had.
He's really into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, cool.
But he knew who Judas Priest were, and he knew who Napalm Death were, surprisingly.
Oh, cool.
Because I think he heard John Peel on the radio like back in the day, and all of a sudden Napalm Death was on it.
Right.
Screaming, just like playing heavy music, and you're hearing like vocals, like, what the hell is this?
Well, you would think I'd be a little more well-rounded musically, because I grew up with so much different music, but none of it stuck. I mean, I was never really, I didn't find my music until metal found me. And once I got into metal, everything else I was deaf to just about. So I know I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, because people may think it's very narrow-minded of me, but I only listen to metal. I don't listen
to people like that. There's days where I'm just listening to nothing but metal, and I'm like, wait a minute, I like other bands, so I'll go listen to Queen for a little bit, or Fleetwood Mac for a little bit, or because they're all in the rock genre.
Sure.
So I still listen to rock music, and I listen to a lot of folk music. So basically, I only listen to things that are closely towards metal.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Cool.
Those sorts of music, so like folk with metal. I love it. There's a lot of hard rock with heavy metal riffs or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I don't listen to
metal is my main music I listen to.
Yeah, I hear you. Like I said, I know that sounds narrow-minded of me, but I just, it's the truth. I mean, I don't listen to anything other than metal. I mean, like I said, it's not always death metal. I mean, heavy metal, power metal.
No, I don't always listen to death metal.
Yeah.
I might listen to some black metal. Or
right.
I've been, actually, especially a lot of black and thrash. So I've been listening to a lot of Toxic Holocaust recently.
I mean, just now I was just listening to Unleashed.
I got that. I got that on vinyl, actually. Where is it? I think I've hit it. Yeah, it is buried. I got it. I got the album. And hopefully I'll be seeing them next year, because they're playing London.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully. Because it's a sequel to a festival that just happened this year called Film Fest, which had a lot of Finnish death metal bands. And this is the Swedish Invasion one next year, so you got Dismember, Unleashed, and Bath and bands like that. So like, well, I love this stuff, so right up my street.
Nice. That's awesome.
But it's in winter, so it's like it fits.
Right. That's cool. I saw Unleashed here in the States back in, I think it was like 90, 91, maybe 92. I think they were touring on the first album. I don't think they had recorded their second album
So
yet.
if it's the first album, so it might be 91 then.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was. But
With
yeah,
no
that's the
live
first time I
dwells.
saw Sweden. They were great. Great live.
Yeah, I've never seen them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they were
I
great.
think they played the UK a couple of times, but I could never get to where they were because either it was too far away because I don't drive yet. Once I do, and they're playing wherever I can park, stay overnight, great. Go see some Swedish death metal with. Sorry, Mike. I've got a frog in my throat. And go see Unleashed, like some Viking death metal one because Johnny, the vocalist and bassist, I don't think a lot of people know this unless they do their history. He used to play bass in Nihilist.
Yep.
Which then went on to become Entombed.
Right.
But interesting story about that. They didn't want to just kick him out, so they just broke the band up and changed the name.
Yep. That's how I understand it. Yeah.
That's how I understand it anyway. Because I read the Swedish death metal book, and I think at the time they were just getting annoyed with Johnny just talking about Vikings. Me, I wouldn't mind.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think it worked out for both. I think it worked out for both parties. I mean,
yeah, because they're both death metal bands. It's just one sings about one thing and the other sings about another thing. Well, I say sing, it's not really singing.
Yeah.
So people say, this is just rah, rah, rah. To us is like you hear before the creation of time. He goes, before the creation of time. It's like, all people who are not into metal were here. Rah, 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 rah. What's he saying? It's like, oh, I know what he's saying. Because everyone thinks you can't understand death metal vocalists. But I was thinking about this. If you hear Mevlit Creation, great band. I only got to see him once with Brett Hoffman before he passed away in 2018. Yep. You can understand what he's saying. Because he's not doing the typical growls and gutturals. He's sort of doing a raspy, heavier vocal style thrash metal, I guess. If that's
it's a little bit more clear.
It's a bit more clear. So everyone thinks, oh, death metal, they've got low vocals. Like, what? You hear Lars in Entombed. His vocals are very easy to understand.
Sure.
But they're still aggressive.
Yeah.
But I like any death metal. If it's low vocals, great. If it's somewhere in between, that's also great. I don't mind. But
I think if we're talking about Entombed, I got to tell you that I think that record, Entombed's Left Hand Path, that record to me set the bar for death metal, not only out of Sweden but around the world.
Because there's been a lot of bands copying the sound, even if it is in Sweden. Because there's one band here, they're not going anymore because a couple of them in another band, they were called Hellsworn, and they had that Swedish death metal sound. And the constant reverb vocals,
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
It's that record. Entombed's Left Hand Path, man. It's even got the sticker on it that still says about over here about Nihilist.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, if we're showing albums, I have to see this.
I try to buy vinyl first anytime I ever have.
I would have bought the vinyl, but it's probably going to go for quite a bit. But if it's original pressing, it's going to go for quite a bit. Yeah.
It's amazing what stuff is worth nowadays. That back in when this stuff got first pressed back in the 90s, Jake, I was buying it because I wanted to hear it. I had no idea 30 years later that these records would be worth some of what they're worth. Or the CDs, some CDs I have, or demo tapes. I had no idea at the time I was buying them that this thing would become, would be worth, probably 10 times what I'm paying for it.
I didn't get into death metal until about 2004, thereabouts. Because a mate of mine at school, I haven't seen him in years, he said, oh, check out Cannibal Corpse. I was like, okay. So I checked out a song, Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, which I do love now, but back then I didn't like. I didn't mind the guitar, I didn't mind the bass, I didn't mind the drums. It's just when you heard Chris Bond's vocals, I was just like, what the hell is this? I'm going back to Metallica. or Pantera, because I got into Metallica, Anthrax, and stuff like that, and Pantera. And I know you don't like the band because we spoke before, way before this. You're not a big Black Sabbath fan, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Me, I love Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath. So.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I know that gets me in a lot of trouble. Still,
like, you don't like Black Sabbath?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it's not that I don't like it.
It's just not you. It's just not.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big doom metal fan. I don't have I mean, I might have a few records or CDs that are doom metal. I'm not really big on doom metal itself. Now, but however, I do like death doom. You put that deathly element in there, I enjoy it much more. But strictly just a doom band, you know, I'm not really a big doom fan. And of course, Black Sabbath was very, doomy in their approach. So I'm not saying I don't like them. They just didn't, I didn't get hooked. I think, I was probably a little more looking for something a little more upbeat as far as the approach went. That's just kind of my tastes.
Yeah, me, I was instantly hooked when I heard Black Sabbath, because before Black Sabbath, I heard Ozzy Osbourne, I heard Crazy Train. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Oh yeah, it's a good, yeah. But I like Ozzy. I mean, I like Ozzy's solo project.
I thought Ozzy must have done something before his solo career. So I was like, and then someone said, "Oh, he used to be in a band called Black Sabbath." I was like, "What the hell's Black Sabbath?" And checked out Black Sabbath. I was like, "Nice." So been hooked ever since. And I got a funny story about Black Sabbath, actually. Not them personally, just going to see him for the first time in 2012. My auntie got spare ticket. She got 2 tickets, one for me and for whoever I took. So I messaged my mate Chris. I said, "So, I got 2 tickets to see Black Sabbath at the O2 in Birmingham. Do you want to go?" Did not hear from him for like 5-10 minutes, because he was jumping on his sofa with total excitement, because his dad got to see Black Sabbath like back in the day and actually got to meet Tony Iommi and Dio. And I'm like, ew. And I didn't hear from him for such a long time. He said, yes. I was like, cool, you're coming in.
Cool. How was the show?
Oh, it was brilliant. They were the only band. They had no support band. It was just some guy on on a DJ deck just playing some classic tunes. Well, classic tunes and like other stuff, not just metal. So he was playing stuff like Alice in Chains and a mixture of that, which I don't mind, a bit of Alice in Chains from time to time. So, yeah. Cool. What's the T-shirt you're wearing? I don't recognize that.
I don't know. Vrenth. It's my friend. It's my good buddy out in California, Mike Abominator Nelson. He's also in the band Ruin. But this is a side project, I think, of his out of California. It's death metal. They did a demo last year. They put out their first demo. That's all they have out right now. But Mike sent me this along with the demo. And good killer band. Check them out. Vrenth. It's spelled VRENTH. But check them out. Death metal. If you're into that cavernous, very dark, murky, heavy death metal sound and vibe, you're definitely gonna like Vrenth.
Yeah, because I heard because when we chatted last time, not a metal chat like this, you said check out Fed It. I did.
Oh yeah.
And I loved it. It was that right level of murky, evil sounding death metal I was looking for, because I was getting into bands like that, like Undergain and Spectral Voice and Blood Incantation, who just got that evil sound. And the bass just being distorted, that sort of sound. In Fed It, the bass it's got that, like, just put the distortion on and it's got that sound with it.
Yeah, Fed It's great, man. What that whole scene, like here in the States, that came out of that recently within the last like couple of years, that came out of that area of Seattle and Portland, what we call the Pacific Northwest. Some of the bands coming out of there are just incredible. They're just so heavy, just incredible like you said, Fed It, and so many other bands that just came in within the last couple of years. It seems like just that area produced great bands.
Yeah, because I was trying to think, there's got to be a UK band, and I just remember there's one from where I am. They're called Crypt.
Oh, Cryptworm, yeah.
They're Bristol based.
Okay.
But well, the vocalist, he's not from Bristol originally. He's from Hungary originally. He used to be in another band. He's 6'6". The guitar looks like a toy on him.
Oh wow!
And he's doing the same sort of vocals as the vocalist from Undergang, because they supported Undergang at the Griffin, which is a pub here. It's the #1 metal pub.
Oh, nice.
And Undergang in that tiny room, it was sweaty. It was August of last year. It was sweaty as anything. It was just humid. Humid as anything. Can't even talk today. And Cryptworm were the first band on. So yeah, I know the vocalist a bit better than. Actually, no, it's the vocalist and the drummer I know more than I do their bassist. I don't know their bassist too well. I know the drummer because he used to be in a doom band called Sanunas, which is like more not like traditional doom with clean vocals. Is like just shouty sort of vocals, death metal vocals mixed in. But yeah,
nice.
So yeah.
So you live close to that pub then?
No, I don't live close to it. I live a bit further from the centre where it's based, but I can walk to it. That's not really an issue. It just takes me a while because it's just like, okay, walk to the pub. I don't got a pub around my corner, but there's no metal on in there. I need to be surrounded by people that are like, yeah, metal.
Like, of course.
And he always has a wide selection of ales. John, who's the owner, is never the same ales at the front of the bar. They're always different.
That sounds good.
But in his fridge, he gets pretty much the same things in there. So if you don't want what's on the front, you just go get to the bar, look at the fridge, like, yeah, I'll have that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cool pub. If you're ever in Bristol, go to it when this pandemic decides to, bugger off.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know about this pandemic thing. I think it's that little virus I think it's definitely going to change the way, even when a vaccination is found. My opinion is, I don't think we're ever going to go back to the way it was. I think it's going to change the way we do business. I think it's going to change the way people work. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. My opinion is I don't think it quite ever goes back to, at least for this country, I don't think it ever goes back to the way it was. I think there's going to be a lot of different things that are going to change how we socialize, how we, like I said, how we work, how we do business. I think that little virus has changed it. Definitely going to change things for this country anyway, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to change here quite a bit. I don't know how much is going to change in the UK, because I like to be able to see a lot of my mates again, because I only got to see one very recently. I've gone to his house and did a social distance chat in his garden, and plus I had to go pick up some beer that I went halves on. I bought half, he bought half, and I had to go pick it up.
Gotcha.
So I went there, had a chat and chat music, and just had a good chat and a laugh, because I hadn't had that with any of my mates in person for months.
Yeah.
It's taken its toll on me, actually.
Yeah. When people get cooped up for that long, it gets you got to get out. I mean, we're sociable animals, right? So we're a pack animal. Yeah, we have to socialize. So.
And it's affecting gigs and festivals at the moment, because obviously at festivals you get thousands of people turning up to see over 100 different bands from different countries, and we can't do that at the moment. So a lot of people are doing like online sort of things, like Century Media did Isolation Fest, and they had like a lot of the bands from their label do that from where they are in their countries. Just play
That's a good idea.
like 5 songs or a couple of songs or just one song, and then they're done.
I did notice some bands during the pandemic, during the quarantine. I noticed that some bands were streaming their their lives. They were streaming their rehearsal. They would rehearse and they were streaming stuff. I thought that was a great idea. For bands doing that. During that quarantine time, they're giving people a chance to see some bands live. More or less live. I mean, not quite the same, but in the given situation.
Underground did that. They played their songs from their rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of the guitars would turn out because it was just so.
Yeah. It wasn't some of them weren't the best song, but I give them credit for at least the bands that did that. That I thought kudos to them for doing that.
No, it's good that we're having bands doing that, but it's not the same as actually seeing them live. It's not the same as seeing them live, because the last big band I saw was Testament with Exodus and Death Angel on their tour. Those are the last big bands I saw, and then I saw a mate of mine's band at the Griffin. And I haven't seen any of the bands since.
Last show I went just before we went into the quarantine. It was back in like early March. I'm pretty sure it was early March.
It was early March.
I saw Autopsy with Cyanide. It was a show here in Chicago, and
awesome bands.
What's that?
Both awesome bands.
Oh yeah, that was a great show. Wonderful show. That was the last show. Like literally, it was about 2 weeks before they, in this country, they had said, there was a quarantine. They had quarantined everyone, but it was literally about 2 weeks before that. So I was lucky that I did get that last show in.
Good.
It was supposedly that was Cyanide's last live performance. They have decided they probably won't be playing live anymore. They're just going to be a studio band at this point in their career.
Fair enough.
They decided that was their last gig. So that's what they say. So
that's what they say, but we might be pleasantly surprised. And
you never know. I guess never say never.
Because I was meant to be seeing Autopsy this year at UK Death Fest, but obviously they had to postpone it until next year.
Right.
So I'll have to see him next year, which I don't mind. It just gives me a longer wait. That's the only thing that's annoying. It gives me a longer wait. And also Massacre's on that bill.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So I was like...
Is Cam Lee with me? Is he going to be singing with Massacre?
Oh, yes. It's
awesome.
Basically half of the same lineup from their 1986 demo days.
Oh, cool. Is Rick Ross still with them?
No, he's not with them anymore.
Oh, okay.
They got their old bassist, not Terry Butler, the one before Terry, Mike Borden, I think his name is. I know his first name's Mike.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I remember.
Two new members.
I've seen Massacre a few times, like 2-3 times, I think.
Oh, when was the first time? Or the second time, or whenever.
You know what it was? What year did Incantation's demo come out? Because that was the first time I met John McEntee.
1990.
91? 90 or 91?
Well, their first EP was, what was it? Elements of Evil.
It was 1990. So it was, I think it was, so John, that was the first time I met John. It was at a Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was called Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I remember it was the first time I met John, and I bought one of that. That's when I bought the original Incantation demo from him.
Oh, demo.
And that show, that was the first time I saw Massacre play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were still on their From Beyond album, so yeah, it was the first time I saw that.
From Beyond that was 91. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe it was 91.
Yeah, because that's when that album came out.
Yeah, my timing's off, but it was then it must have been 91. But John had the Incantation demos still, so I remember getting that from him.
Well, they still had the demos. Get the demos.
Yeah,
as well, because you post a lot on your channel.
I do. That's my life's work.
Well, the channel, not
the channel. That's I just Jake. I call it that because I don't do a lot with the channel other than
No.
upload.
Yeah, you
I
upload a
mean,
lot of bands, then sometimes you upload you talking about subscribers and like thanking subscribers and little updates here and there.
yeah, I did. I was. I got away from that, doing that as well. So right now I'm just uploading music. However, anybody watching this, uh, I am going to be making some changes to the channel.
Oh yeah, all those.
Yeah, I'm going to make some changes to the channel. I'm going to post an editorial. That editorial will be posted before Thanksgiving, is all I can say. I'm going to post that before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Um,
November time then.
but before then, before Thanksgiving, I'll definitely have an editorial posted, and it's going to explain a little more as far as the changes that I'm going to make to the channel. I hope everybody's is going to be accepting of the changes I'm going to make. At least I hope they will be.
Well, let's
And
hope.
but yeah, I decided to make some changes to the channel, and I'll explain those in my editorial. Hopefully,
Yeah,
like I said, later on this year.
like on this year, yeah, that's cool.
But
So,
until then, I'm still going to continue to post,
yeah,
as normal. I
what?
posted something this morning.
Yeah, I saw you posted 2 bands, I think.
Yeah. So that first one I posted, I
One
got
was
a
a
copyright
Abominog,
strike.
wasn't it?
It was. It was their demo, their 90 demo, "Resting in Your Grave," and I got a copyright strike.
Oh, damn.
So, yep. Somebody must have. I don't know if it's the band or someone or maybe a publishing company has rights to the music.
Probably.
So, unfortunately, my video was removed. So as soon as I saw that, I had to hurry up and upload something else. So what I put up there is a band called Blackness. They were from
Yeah.
Michigan, or I'm sorry, they're from California, and
You've got so
it's
many different bands from America, from different states. I'm just like, oh wait, where's this one? New York,
yeah,
California,
yeah.
Jersey, or whatever.
Like I said, it's my life's work. It's a lot of them are originals, a lot are not. I just got them from my tape trading days when I was doing heavily involved in tape trading. When I got into CDR trading after tapes kind of died out. Then when internet became a staple in people's
It
homes,
just made it easier to find all these
then I
demos.
started doing blog spots and file sharing communities and things like that, and just started trading with people like that. So throughout the years of doing all that, Jake, is how I accumulated
Well,
literally thousands of demos.
yeah, when you were probably tape trading or whenever you were tape trading, I don't know if it was the late 80s. I wasn't born in the late 80s. I wasn't born until 1991.
Uh, I I think I started trading. I think it was like probably around 1990.
Oh, I was born a year later.
Yeah. I started tape trading. I started actively tape trading in probably around 1990. And I tape traded probably for 2 to 3 years with several traders.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
which
because
I don't know if you can see them behind me. That's
yeah,
what all these guys are.
well, I can see a glimpse. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So for
So,
people who are younger, who are a lot younger and getting in the scene, Ken here has been in the scene for so many years. He's done the tape trading. So explain to all the younger metal fans where the whole tape trading thing started.
so at least when it started for me. So for me, it was like late 1989 is when I met a friend of mine named Brad Boldak. We had met. I knew one of his older brothers. I had worked with him, and I was 19 at the time. Brad's a year younger than me, so he was like 18 at the time. But we met because I was friends with his older brother, and we right away had a connection because Brad liked metal music too. Now, he was the original bassist vocalist of the band Morgue from Illinois.
Yeah, I've checked him out.
Yep,
Yeah, really
he
great
was the
band.
original bass player vocalist of that band. Now he's in a
Checked him out
band
years
called
ago.
Yep. I think they recorded that in '92.
What eroded thoughts? Yeah,
Eroded Thoughts. Yep.
yeah. Sorry, he's in another band, the original bassist and vocalist.
Yeah, Absconder.
Okay.
Yep. So I met him, and he was doing a fanzine at the time.
And that was
And I bought a copy of it from them for, like $2 or whatever. And I started reading through it, and I noticed there was a section about tape trader, like address, and, they had their addresses and things like that. And I asked him, what is this? What is this? He goes, oh, well, if you have a list of music, you can send your list to them, and they'll send you back their list. And then you guys record stuff for each other on blank cassettes, and you send them to one another. I had no idea that this even existed, but I started looking through, and I decided, well, I'll make a list of, the stuff I had at the time. Now this is 1990. I'd only been collecting metal since 82, but really, I didn't probably start actively collecting until I was, maybe in junior high or high school at the time. But, I had some stuff, not what I have today, but I made a list of it. And once I made the list, I just started sending it out to tape traders, and a few came back to me and started, we just started trading, and it just kind of went from there. So for me, it was late 80s. Now, I got to think that it was probably going on, obviously, before then. So
obviously before then.
Yeah, I would think that it was probably in the mid to late 80s is when tape trading started, probably mid to late 80s. But, for me, like I said, I didn't actively start doing it till very late 89 or early 1990 is when I really started getting involved in tape trading.
Yeah.
What a wonderful time that was. What a glorious time.
Well, because that was basically, this might sound kind of stupid. That's probably the equivalent of the internet.
It was.
In a sense.
That was the internet. We had no internet.
Because you write letters to the bands to get a demo from them, or you send, if you're in a band, you send them their demo and they send one back, and then obviously you trade tapes at shows, or you just hang out. It's like, oh, check out the Autopsy demo from '87 or something, or which I have heard. It's very raw, but it's still great.
Yep, I have actually both of those, the Critical Madness and the '87 demo. However, I'm leery about uploading them to the channel because I don't know if a copyright strike will be. So I'm not sure. So eventually I'd probably like to get those uploaded, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I tend to stay away from the bigger name bands because they may have copyright laws on their music. So that's why sometimes I kind of stay away from that and kind of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go a little bit more, with that.
More underground.
Exactly. Just because I'm afraid to get, any more.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's like, oh, sorry, copyright infringement. Sorry, your video's gone.
And the thing is, if you get 3 of those on your channel, your channel could be deleted. They could, YouTube may delete your channel. So you got to be real careful. I've only ever had one copyright strike at a time. So I've been okay. And if I get one, I may get one on the one I did today. And I'm clean right now. So if I get the one, I'll have one, and it stays on your record basically for 3 months, and then it goes away. And if you get 3 in a 3-month period, there's a warning that YouTube says they will delete your channel.
So yeah, that happens. Just download everything that's on your channel, and then you got it. Download everything on your channel, put it on an external hard drive, then just re-upload the videos.
I don't know, Jake. If that happened to me, I don't know exactly what I'd do if that really happened. I don't know if I could go through all that again.
No, it's probably just a bit stressful, I guess.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, if that really happened to me, I would probably just end up fading into obscurity.
And be like, oh, what happened to that guy Ken you were talking to? I don't know. I think he died.
Yeah, pretty much. I would just go into it. I would just fall into obscurity because I don't know if I'd want to do all that all over again. I mean,
no.
It's, not that it's a ton of work. Like I said, I think
it's not like it's a total ball ache, but there you go.
Yeah. I said this, I think, on Cam when Cam had me on his the Growl. I said, sometimes I think I'm giving a little too much credit. I kind of feel bad that everybody keeps thanking me, and that's great. But like I said, I don't do a ton of work with the channel. I mean, I only upload once a week, and it doesn't take me very long to make a video, to record the demo or make the video. So sometimes I feel like people give me a little too much credit. Like,
I think the reason why they give you credit because you're bringing all these bands back that people around your age would have completely forgot about these demos otherwise.
Yeah, you know what, Jake? The metal community's just been wonderful. I mean, I started this channel. It'll next month it'll be 6 years I've had the channel going, and the support to the channel my God, I wish there was a better word that I could find other than thank you to
Yeah.
say to people, like you and
Yeah.
Cam and people that, have me on the, want to talk to me and want to expose the channel and things like that.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
can't say thank you enough. I mean, it's the support to the channel has exceeded any expectation I ever had.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you're welcome, by the way.
I mean, I literally thank you to anybody watching this and everybody watching this. And if you're supporting the channel, thank you. It's all I can say. I can't
Yes,
think
yeah.
of a better word to express my gratitude to everybody. But it has been so humbling. Again, I just upload music and I've gotten so much support because of it. And like I said, all I can say to the metal community is thank you. It's a testament to the metal community and
Oh, definitely.
how supportive the metal community is and how they can come together. And yeah, it took, so for 5 years I had the channel going. August of last year in 2019, in August is when I uploaded an editorial. I had, the channel had reached 5,000 subscribers. So I decided just to, run a quick editorial. And since that editorial, next month will be a year that I ran that editorial. And in that year's time, the channel has gained over 3,000 subscribers,
Noise.
in less than a year's time. And and again, I'm not doing anything different. I haven't done anything differently. I'm still uploading music is all I'm doing. But like I said, that's just a testament to the metal community and
Definitely.
how great they are and how supportive everyone is, and just amazing. I've met so many new people like you and Cam and so many great people, and all I can say is thanks to everybody, and I'm going to continue to keep doing it. But like I said, I got some great changes coming up. I think everybody's going to like it. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that, people.
Stay tuned
If
because
you are following his channel or want to follow his channel, it's Ken's Death Metal Crypt on YouTube.
So yeah, stay tuned. Like I said, I'll be uploading an
all
editorial
your old
that'll
school
explain
demo needs.
What's that again?
For all your old school demo needs.
If
It's all American bands, so if you're
looking for old school death metal.
So, well, I did ask you before this to get some of your favorite albums out. Can we have a look?
Sure.
Some of mine as well.
Well, I showed you that Entombed one.
You showed me Entombed, so we got that out of the way.
Yeah, here's another one that I bought during the time that it came out and kind of blew me away.
Yes.
Of course,
got the patch on
Realm of Chaos. This is, an original. Obviously, these are all original. But this album kind of floored me when I first heard it. Another one of my favorite records that I bought back in the day. Now
is amazing. I only got to see him once because it was Damnation 2014 is a festival they have in Leeds, and they were headlining it. And that's the only time I got to see him.
I've seen Bolter, I think, twice. I think I saw him twice.
Because also I got a Bolt for vinyl. Well, my favorite one is the Fourth Crusade.
Oh, that's a good record.
Yeah, but I got the very first. Yeah, that is a great record. It's my favorite. That's what got me into him because of the title track. But I got the very first one.
Oh yeah, in Battle there is no law.
Everyone forgets this is their first one. Everyone thinks it's Realm of Chaos. No, it's this one.
Yep.
This came out in 1988.
That actually, honestly, that album sounds like a different band.
Yeah, it's more
grindy
than anything.
It's more grindy and crusty for sure.
Yeah, it's not what their sound became, which was more. You could say it kind of had a death doom sound in some of their albums, but then you can say it's just death metal because a lot of the old school death metal sounds slow, not slow,
Sure.
slow, but it's less tempo, I guess.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean, but yeah, I'll be honest with you though, probably my favorite Bolt Thrower album. Although I really enjoyed Realm of Chaos, that was one of my favorites when it came out. I think they really hit it with Fort Victory.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great record too. Yeah.
That's Swedish death metal band.
I have the original. Is that an original press?
No, it's a re-release from a.
That's cool.
From a website I got it from called UKEM Records. But it says Back on Black.
Back on Black. Yeah, cool.
So there's the back.
I have several Dismember on vinyl, several Dismember vinyl. Oh, that's cool.
So you got lyrics, and you got the band with half of their shirts off.
Yep.
So people like
That's cool.
So people are like, oh, sexy men. Well, they play nasty music. Play nasty music, so you're gonna have to compromise.
So here's my opinion of the first death metal album that was ever recorded.
Possessed.
That's to me, that's the first death metal album that was ever recorded.
Oh, definitely, because it came out in 1986.
86.
Pretty sure it was 85, but we'll agree to disagree.
Oh, was it 85?
Yeah, this is 85.
I didn't get it till 86.
Yeah, well, I got the gatefold one.
Oh, cool.
Hang on.
Oh, that's cool.
Got a little band picture.
Yep.
Because one of them is now in Primus. Or joined Primus. I'm thinking, how can you go from one of the earliest, like, you can call Possessed one of the early death metal bands, from that to playing like some funky sort of rock metal, whatever. Nothing against Primus is actually alright. Like John the Fisherman, that's an alright track. But I don't listen to that stuff. I listen to all that, and that's one of my favourite albums, obviously. Just metal.
Yeah, that
Not
album.
Metal, but metal.
That album ruined my life.
Oh, okay. Was that a bad thing or a good thing?
It's been downhill ever since, man. Ever since that Venom record in 1982, it's been downhill ever since. So
don't let that put you off, people. He's joking, I think. I think he's joking. No, he's not. He's not joking. Don't get the metal, people. It will ruin your life. Or it might actually be good. I don't know. Right, got their Metallic page up.
Here's one you might like, Jake. Yeah. I know you've mentioned these guys before.
Oh, Cyanide.
Yeah, my good friends in Cyanide. There's their original 1990 Funeral demo.
Yeah, I heard that on your channel.
Yeah, this is how I met those guys. I'm good friends with Mike and Scott. I've been friends with them since we met in 1990, and I got this demo from them. As a matter of fact, they were just texting me a bit ago this morning, seeing how hot it was outside. But they're I call them my friends, but they're like my brothers. But yeah, I met those guys back then. Got that demo, and again, that's another tape that ruined my life.
Yeah, here's a band that I saw February this year. There's a Finnish band, some Galvanizer.
Oh yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Sangrin Vigil.
Yeah.
Back.
That's cool. That's a good album. That's a good CD. I have that one. Yeah, that's great.
I chat to them afterwards. Like this was like near the end of the second day because it was only on for 2 days. I spoke to the bassist, who's like over 6 foot tall, and I looked at his bass and it looks like a guitar. He made it himself.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's amazing. But it looks like a guitar because it's got the same tuners on the guitar, and I was like, wow, this actually looks cool.
Well, it must be nice to be talented. I'm not that talented, so I can't make guitar.
Instruments. I can't make them though. I can play.
You play guitar?
I play guitar, bass, play the drums, but I don't have a drum kit. I got a frame drum for like my folk project, which is just a big drum you hit it with a beater and makes a really good sound.
Yeah, I don't have much talent, so I could sing a little bit, but
yeah, because you got a band of your own. Before the stuff you have, can you tell people briefly what your band's called?
We're called Unnatural. We formed. It's myself. We're just 2 members. It's myself, vocals, and then my bandmate Ted Van Tilburg. He's the original drummer of the band Morgue. The Eroded Thoughts. He does actually the Eroded Thoughts. Ted did record some of the songs. The drums are his drumming on that album. But he does all the music. He records. He's the engineer. He mixes everything. So he's the technician behind the band.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we just decided, like, back in 2004 or 2015, I think it was. Yeah, we just kind of decided, he had some ideas about recording some music. He had recorded a few things, and he kind of just sent them to me, and I liked it, and it was heavy, and I liked it, and I just told him, well, we should let's just form a band. He's like, yeah, cool. So we just did, and then, that was kind of it. We just decided to do it, for fun. We don't, we don't break any new ground. We don't set any new bars. We don't do anything fancy. We're two old guys that like old school death metal. That's what we like. That's what we play, and that's what we do. And if you don't like old school basic death metal, you probably won't like our band.
Like that. I like old school basic death metal because I
yeah,
listen to it and I think
that's what we are.
I can actually try and learn this and actually try and get every note exact. When it's like brutal technical death metal, it's like no,
Yeah,
can't.
Yeah, that's what we like. That's who we are. So if you check that out, we're on Bandcamp
and also check out Morgue for anyone who doesn't know Morgue.
Oh yeah, for sure. Check out Morgue.
If you look,
Dark Descent re-released Eroded Thoughts on vinyl, and I think Headsplit Records did the cassette. I think Dark Descent did the CD.
Yeah, I think I went on Headsplit's website and I saw the tape. So yeah.
Yeah, so it got re-released, so it's a lot easier to find now.
And,
for many years, it was hard to find.
It's hard to find anyway because it's some albums are just difficult to find.
Sure.
Because
I understand you had showed Dismember. I understand that, like Dismember stuff. I was listening to some other people saying that the Dismember stuff is really hard to find. Like you can't find.
Well, this was literally I found this on UKEM Records, and luckily it was a re-release, and it's like just new. And I thought, well, I'm going to get this before it sells out, so I got it.
Yeah.
I can't find this. I think I found the CD, but I went for too much. I got their second album, Indecent and Obscene.
Yep.
Which is a great album. The song I heard from that and the song that got me into Dismember was Dreaming in Red.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good song.
It's just the bass when it opens that. You hear the bass note, and then all of a sudden you get the guitars coming, and it's like, and the bass is still doing that note. Still doing that. Those chords. Well, can't really call chords. Can't really call the bass notes on the bass chords, but I don't know. But for people that don't, if you haven't checked out Morgue, if you look on their Metallic page, Ken's name will come up because he took the photograph on the back of the album.
I did.
Because he knows the guys.
Yeah, I was good friends with all those guys. Well, we lived in the same city and not far from each other, and we were all friends, and so we spent many hours together and grew up together, and those guys again, just talking about Brad and Ted, like I said, they're my friends, but really they're my brothers. We're
like that.
Metal brothers.
Got tons of mates, but a lot of them are brothers. But because you took the picture, because I was looking at the picture you took, and it's in the snow because it looked like it was during winter.
Yeah, I think it was. I think we went to a local cemetery, if I recall.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think we went to a local cemetery, and they wanted me to snap a shot.
Take the picture, Ken. All right.
Yep, that was it.
That's it. That picture. You fuck up anything in the picture, we're using it.
Hey, here's one that I think you liked on the channel that you had talked about.
Oh, Embalmed.
Yeah, Boiling Humans demo.
I heard it and I was like, wow, this is like proper old school.
This is wonderful. This is a wonderful demo. I remember getting this from the band. I wrote to the band and I got this demo. But and plus they have another one. I also posted both. They have another demo called Pieces Remain, along with this one. But what a wonderful
one. I was like, wow, that's really great stuff.
It is.
Why isn't no one else listening to this band? Like,
you remember? I'm sure you know this band.
Yep.
Dracetta.
Yep. Decade. How you say the name?
Unholy Ground. Yeah, that's an original. I remember getting this from. I think I got this actually from Terry, who was the original drummer, Terry Hagen.
Because she was in Mystic as well.
Yep.
And I got the Anthology CD as well.
I would love to get that. I have all their stuff.
I went to Scandinavia Death Fest last year, so that's why I saw Dismember for the first time. And it was because there was a building which had like a lot of merch, and that CD was in one of the merch tables, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting that.
Yeah, I would love to have that too. I'd actually love to have that on vinyl. I mean, I have all their
the EP, the demo stuff, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Because the guitarist and vocalist, what's her name again?
Mary Bilecki was Dana Duffy, Mary Bilecki,
Mary
Terry
Bilecki.
Hagen.
Yeah, because she's in another band at the moment called, I think they're still going, Demonic Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
They're still
Yep, he
going
was
on.
on the Demonic Christ.
Mm.
And Mary's actually in Durketta with like Sharon.
That's cool.
Sharon, so yeah, they're still doing Durketta. But yeah, like I said, I have. Do you know? Does that have the rehearsal tape? The rehearsal they did on that anthology.
I'll go find it and check it, find out as well. Because I was about to get that out actually. I'll find it now. Then. Found it. Should have got that. I should have got this out earlier. Well, for anyone that doesn't know, Mystic, that's Mystic. Mythic or Mystic, Mystic. I say Mystic. I know there's a Y, but it's like Miss or Mythic. Just say Mystic. I was like, no, I'm saying Mystic. Okay. Mythic.
So is there the rehearsal? Is the rehearsal on that?
Well, that's the tracks. Some of the is the EP.
Yep.
And the
Immortal Realm demo, because they actually did a rehearsal before the Immortal Realm demo, and then they did Mourning in the Winter Solstice. I was just wondering if the rehearsal was on that as well.
I don't think so, but since I got it out, some old school pictures.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I should pick that. I gotta pick that up. I gotta find that.
Of course.
Yep. Awesome.
I'm just calling these the three gorgeous ladies of death metal.
Absolutely.
Look at I think they were like the only female.
At the time, they were one of a few.
Bands.
Yeah, at that time, there was only, not many all-female death metal bands. So they were one of the few, probably the most well-known.
I think they were the first one.
Mythic and Durketta.
Yeah. No. I think they were the first death metal. Well, you look on their Metallum page, it's Death Doom, but because they had that crushing doom sound as well. But Mythic is a band that people should check out. They're not going anymore because they're all doing different things, except for Terry. She's not really doing much.
People are interested. They want to definitely check out Mythic, but check out Durketta, because Durketta is still they're still active in
check them out definitely.
Yeah, they're great. Like I said, I have their EP and demo on the channel, so if you want to check out their old material, but they're still active. So
Mythic, isn't it?
Yeah, Durketta's a great band.
Yeah, definitely check them out. Well, this ain't a death metal album, but it's one of my favorite albums. It's Fear Factory, Demanufacture.
Fear Factory. I'm not familiar with them. I mean, I know who they are, but I don't own anything.
Second album from '95, because their first one was Soul of a New Machine. That came out in '92, I think. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, they were just one of those bands I never. I just didn't just never ventured into. So I never really got familiar with their stuff. I mean, I heard some of their stuff on the radio and whatnot, but I never really
checked them out.
Yeah, never really checked them out. So.
And so what other stuff do you have for us to show people?
Oh boy. Well, I got. So here's something that I just recently got from Discogs, but it's from Drowned Productions. Drowned Productions was a record label out of Spain, and back in the '90s, and this was their first release, which is a band called Necrophiliac, and it's actually got a live show and the demo on this release. This is an original copy. I kind of went on a quest to get all of the Drowned Production releases, demo releases. I'm only missing about 3 or 4 demo releases, then I'll have them all. So I kind of went on a quest to get all of their demo releases from that label. He did that. It's actually Dave Rotten. He's in the band Avulsed from Spain.
Oh yeah, Avulsed. Yeah.
And he does the label now, Extreme Music.
Yeah, I saw Avulsed in Cardiff, last year, or 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. So this was his label. Drown Productions was his record label back in the 90s. And he showcased so many great bands from Spain, to the world. Because, if it wasn't for, a label like this, we wouldn't have ever heard of bands like this or so many other
A lot of
bands.
bands tend to get forgotten about. Like you always think of the death metal bands from America or here in England or Sweden or Finland, wherever, but then you don't think of like Spain or Italy or Austria or wherever it has death metal.
Yeah.
But you look it up, you look at Austria, they got Pungent Stench, Disharmonic Orchestra, and Disastrous Murmur, and Belphegor as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously Poland, you got Vader. That was the first death metal band I ever saw live.
Now Poland is another country that
Behemoth.
Yeah. Poland's another country that I just never felt ever got enough recognition for the bands.
I'm just finding bands from all over the world. Yeah. They don't get
especially Poland.
Let's not forget Decapitated.
Like this one. There's a band from Poland called Morbid Insane. This is on Carnage Records. What a great! I found this just recently.
It's yellow.
It's got yellow tape on it. Yeah, what a great death metal release this is. And this band is virtually unheard of. It's got that Polish evil guitar sound to its death metal approach. But there's just so many bands from Poland that I just felt never got the recognition they deserve. So that's another one of my conquests. Carnage Records. They were instrumental in producing lots of death metal bands from Poland, and I want to try and get all their releases. I'm missing several. So that's another conquest.
Not so much record labels, just bands. I'm trying to find all their stuff. So it's like, wait, complete that collection. Oh, we got a new album coming out. Damn it.
I don't think I'll ever have everything I want ever.
I pretty much got every bit of At the Gates except for the album they released like a couple of years ago or whatever. I haven't got that one in my collection yet, but once I do, I'll be like, yep, done it. Because I got their EP, which is great, way before, The Red in the Sky is Ours and...
Oh, Gardens of Grief?
Gardens of Grief.
Yeah, that's great.
I was trying to think, is it Gardens of Grief, or am I just going to say that one of their songs, All Life Ends?
Yeah.
Which is a great song. I just like how it starts, because it's like, he does that talking bit, and all of a sudden he just screams of memories. It's like...
I like the song City of Screaming Statues.
Oh, that's a belter of a track.
Yeah, that's a great track. I love that track.
I know you don't like this band, but I'm going to shout anyway. Black Sabbath.
That's all right.
This is one of my favorite albums. And
what's ironic is I'm not really big on Black Sabbath, but I do have a friend of mine had a bunch of metal, and several years ago he was getting rid of it, and he had about 7 Black Sabbath cassettes on cassette. So I took them. So I have them.
You have them.
I have like 10 Black Sabbath albums on cassette, original cassette from the 70s. But I played one or two, but it's
just not your thing. I like it because it's early heavy metal. But they used to be a blues band, so they mixed blues with that, and it just fits. Because on The Wizard, playing the harmonica.
Yeah.
Which I thought, and he did it live, and I was like, I didn't think he could play an instrument.
Well, I'll never deny the fact that, I'll never say that Black Sabbath didn't invent the power chord that is widely used.
Yeah, they call it the tritone, which was considered the devil's tone.
I mean, of course, they are the creators of such.
Yeah,
I just
love Sabbath. I'm always going to love Sabbath.
Yeah, just wasn't, for some reason I didn't get hooked. I can't explain. I still get in trouble for that, Jake. People say you don't like Black Sabbath.
I don't like Black Sabbath, but do you like this band?
Oh,
Maiden.
We can't talk enough about that band.
One of my favorite albums, Power Slave.
So Iron Maiden is by far my favorite band of all time.
Oh, I've seen these guys. I don't know how many times now, but
Iron Maiden can do no wrong in the House of Ken. They do no wrong.
There you go. They cannot do no wrong.
No, they could pretty much just record themselves taking a poop, and I'm good, and I and I would buy it and say it's the greatest record I've ever
They
heard.
could just make an album of them just chatting absolute bollocks and
Much to do about nothing.
Yeah, they're just like, no, just send a message saying, could you, since you just mentioned much to do about nothing Shakespeare play, just do that.
And I would still buy it.
And if they get drunk doing it, it's like, yeah, that's great. I'll send it off to people. Send it off to people. People will buy it. It's like, why would people buy that? We're drunk. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. They're Iron Maiden is they're my favorite band of all time.
I love Iron Maiden. I love Judas Priest as well.
Oh yeah. Love Judas Priest. Got tons of Judas Priest, but Iron Maiden, I think they're probably the band I have the most. I definitely have the most records by them. I definitely have the most paraphernalia, like stuff here in the
Also,
Crypt.
Motorhead, does not forget another British band, Motorhead.
Oh, of course.
Love
Yeah,
Motorhead.
that's another band we can't talk enough about.
And obviously we can't see him anymore because unfortunately Lemmy passed away almost 5 years ago now.
Yeah, that was a tough day for metalheads when
I didn't. My heart just broke when I read it online. I was just like,
yeah, what an inspiration! What an inspiration! Yeah. Just like when Dio passed, it was the same thing.
And then sometime after that, I just started crying.
Yeah,
it was like we just lost a legend.
Oh yeah, Well, all we can do is keep his legacy going.
I'm happy I got to see Motorhead live, and I got a pic that he threw into the audience back in 2009. I just stuck my hand out and grabbed it.
Cool.
He was just throwing a bunch. I just went like that. I was like, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I still have it today. Not getting rid of it. If anyone says, I'll buy it off you. No.
I wouldn't sell that either.
I wouldn't sell that. I wouldn't sell any memorabilia from any band that I got stuff from. It's like, nope. Because I got a pair of Devin Townsend drumsticks. I'm not getting rid of them.
Yeah. If you keep this stuff, like I said, and when you're my age, you're gonna, your collection's gonna look similar.
Yeah, I'll be like this.
Just got to keep.
God, what have I done?
That's what I do. That's what I go. What
have I done?
What did I do to my life here? What?
Okay, why did I fill half of my room up with this stuff? People are going to kill me.
And more stuff just comes in for me, Jake. I mean, I'm waiting for stuff now. At this point, I'm too stupid to quit. Why stop now?
It's just like you can't stop.
Nah, I'll never stop. I mean, it'll until the end of my day. I don't know when my last day is here on Earth, but whenever that is.
I don't think anyone knows that really. But Devin Townsend, I got to mention Devin Townsend. Because I like Devin Townsend. This lovable person. I say because I've met him, got a picture of him, gave him a hug after the picture. He's lovely. This is a
I know he was in Strapping Young Lad and
Strapping Young Lad. I can't talk enough about. But yeah, that album definitely is one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's just one of those bands I just never ventured into their music. I mean, like I said, I think I've heard stuff on the radio and whatnot, but
it's what tickles your fancy. Really, it's what tickles your fancy. But that tickled my fancy because I knew about Devin because of Strapping.
Sure.
I heard his because then I first saw Devin Townsend Project is what I just showed you in 2010 at Bloodstock, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, what else have you got?
A lot. here's an EP that a lot of Abhorrence.
Yeah, because there's members of, or at least one member from Amorphous from that band. I'm trying to remember who it was.
This is probably one of the heaviest 45s you'll ever hear.
I've heard it on YouTube, and it's like, yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, it's so that and the Vulgar Necrology demo they did, just insane. Here's another Finnish band. I was listening to this earlier, or actually last night, but Depravity.
Yep.
Masquerade. This is their EP. Another great band from Finland. So Finland had Yeah, I think they had so many, like,
Because they did something completely different from
they
this
did.
Swedish death metal, the American death
Yeah,
metal thing. And it,
yeah,
I don't
great.
know, when you hear certain guitar tones, like, that's the Boss HM2 pedal, so that's Swedish death metal. There's that, like, sort of different sort of distorted sound. That's a Finnish death metal band. And then, and you hear Demolish, however you want to say it, and you hear Anti's vocals. It's like, how's he doing this? He's burping. He's just got too much gas. I heard their vocals. I thought, what the hell is this? Then I got into it. I was like, well, okay, I'm hooked anyway.
Yeah, what another great band.
I'm just hooked, and I'm going to show you two local bands. They're both mates of mine. All of them are mates of mine. First one is Plain Genesis, is from my mate's band, Embodiment.
Oh, cool.
Plain Genesis. So they only released it back in April.
What's that like?
Oh, it's heavy.
Cool.
It's
I'll have to check that out.
And I don't think there's a picture of the guys in here. No, there isn't. But there's the book.
Yeah, it looks good. Cover looks cool.
I think these. Okay, it's got the guy's name in there and everything. I don't know if you can see that because there's a white background.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah, they make the one lot of group of mates of mine, and the other one is there's Holocaustum.
What's that like? That's a cool cover.
They're like a mix of a lot of old school death metal bands.
Oh, cool.
And Rob, who's the main guy in it, the bassist / vocalist, one of his biggest influences to him personally for this band is Boltfur.
Oh, nice.
Because if you watch some footage from like the show this year, he's wearing a Boltfur shirt.
Cool.
He's a big Boltfur fan, and
I love bolt throwers, so if they take influence from bolt thrower, I'm sure I'll like that.
Can't even get the cam. There we go. You can see most of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See if I can get John there. He's the one who formed the band just by himself. Then he got the other guys in, and Rob's there.
Cool. That's cool. I'll have to check those out, man.
My mate out with our folk metal band. He's doing the guitars and stuff, so we're very grateful for that.
Cool.
Well, I consider him. He's not in the band full time, but I see him as a member because he's helping us out, and he's gonna get our EP out. So, and also obviously I did an album with Herbicidal, which is more on the stoner doom death metal side. I do vocals on that.
Oh, cool.
I'm working on a death doom project, which is going to be more in the vein of Rippakulu from Finland.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And the Spectral Voice and bands that sound like that. So it's like It's slow at first, and all of a sudden it just sort of picks up a bit, like in Rippakulu, because it's like slow, and all of a sudden you get like a fast.
That's cool. Sounds interesting.
Well, that's what I just showed. So make sure.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check those out for sure.
Check them out.
We have
the cost them more in Embodiment, but you might be surprised what you like in Embodiment.
Yeah, for sure. We're as far as Unnatural, we're actually in talks with a local label that wants to put all of our music on a compilation CD.
Yeah.
So we're working with a label right now
that's cool.
Yeah, we're hoping to have that hopefully released by the end of the year. And then next year, Ted and I are definitely going to be releasing a new demo with Mark Riddick artwork on it, and probably some new T-shirt designs. So so we're staying active. I know some people have asked, "Hey, how come you guys just keep doing demos and stuff?" It's because we just write a couple songs at a time.
A couple songs and just make a demo. It's just easier than trying to write 10 songs for a full length.
Yeah. So we're good with that. We're good being a demo band. Yeah.
Not to get a full length out, because you've got to think of more songs that go on the full length. Like how long do you want the album for? Oh, we want like 45 minutes. Okay, you might need like 7 or 8 songs maybe, depending on how long the songs are.
Have you heard the new Vader?
Oh, I haven't yet. No, I've heard one. Song. I've heard one song from it.
I just got it on vinyl. Like I think it was last week. I got it on vinyl. It this is probably the best Vader album since De Profundis. I mean, it is such a good. You were talking about lengths of songs and how many songs. This new record is under 30 minutes.
Yeah, you don't need a long death metal album, so.
It is so good. The songs they're spot on because they're short. They're like quick bursts. They went back to being heavy, grindy, fast. This new Vader album is probably like I said, my favorite Vader album is De Profundis was the second album.
Yeah,
and
because
I think this album
name from the UK, there's a band called De Profundis or De Profundis, I want to say. There's a band with that same name, and they're more on the sort of Death Doom side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Vader album. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely want to check it out. I'm gonna check it
out definitely because I do love Vader. They were the first death metal band I saw.
Really?
I think it was 2009 or 2010. Might have been 9, to be honest. And they were playing the Beer Cellar, which is closed down here now. But they were headlining, and it was amazing. Seeing Vader.
I saw him for the first time in Chicago back in I think it was late 90s. I think it was in the late 90s I saw him, like 97, somewhere around there. They came to Chicago and played in Chicago. But that was late 90s, I think it was the first time I saw Vader. Oh. Actually, I think it was... No, I've seen him after that, but that was the first time I saw him was late 90s.
Yeah, I saw him like late 2000s or 2009, maybe 2010. It might have been 2009. I might have to double check, but yeah, it was the first death metal band I saw, and then the first black metal band I ever saw was Marduk from Sweden.
Yeah,
and one of my favorite Swedish black metal band is Dark Funeral.
Oh yeah,
love them.
Yeah, I was involved with. What's that?
I only got to see him once, and that was at Bloodstock 2013. Because one band I was going to go see already finished, and I was like, "Oh, Dark Funeral! I'm going to go watch them."
I was actually involved with Dark Funeral. Lord Aram. Aram. Yeah, he was. So I had a record label for a few years back in the early 2000s.
And what was it?
It was called House of Death Records.
House of Death.
And I only did one release. It was with a band called Wolfen Society. It was a 4-song EP. And the members of the band were Vincent Crowley from Acheron. Yeah, Kyle Severn was the drummer from Incantation. Yep. Lord Airman was one of the guitar players. Yep. And then there were 2 guys from the band, the Electric Hellfire Club. So they all got together and they did. They formed Wolfen Society, and then that's the release I had put out under that label, House of Death Records. But label only went for a few years, then I closed it up. It's a kind of a long story. I won't get into it, but I got a little. I was dealing with another label in Europe, and there were some things that got done that weren't supposed to get done, and kind of screwed.
Lack of communication, I'm guessing.
It was a lot of lack of communication. So unfortunately, I could never.
As always, the things like we're trying to get albums out, and you're not communicating. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad situation for me. That I got kind of, screwed over. But like I said, that's a long time ago. So
you get completely screwed over.
You live and learn. But again, never say never. Sometimes I think I learned my lesson. Sometimes I think maybe Ken's Death Metal Crypt Records. It's got a ring to it.
It's got a ring.
You never know. You never know.
I got a beard, and then I can do this.
You know what? I can't grow a beard. I haven't shaved in probably a week. I got too much Native American blood, so I have a lot of Native American blood. So
I thought they could grow facial hair, and we're just making that up.
Have you ever seen an Indian with a beard?
Not really.
Nope. That's why.
They got really good long hair, but it just hands in a grow.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
Well, at least you got the long hair down, so that's all good.
Yeah, I don't grow much facial hair at all. So yeah, I think it's just my genetics.
I got Celtic and Viking in me, so I can grow
So
this.
your beard's gonna grow like 9 feet long.
Yeah, by the end of this bloody lockdown, it'll be like, right. I'll just like, don't need a mask. Don't need a mask.
Just wrap your beard around, yeah.
Because I'd seen a video of that someone just got their beard, put glasses on, and just went. I was just like, he was just like mask. It just covered his.
That's
like,
cool.
It's like, whoa, I think I know why his beard's growing. He's got no hair on the top. Because I think that's what I'm attributing it to. If you lose your hair on the top, your beard's going to get bigger.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But that's the one thinking. I don't know. You lose your hair and your beard gets bigger. I don't bloody know.
Yeah, like you said, I don't know anything about beards. I don't grow them. So.
I just know growing one and trimming it from time to time. But then people are like, oh, don't trim your beard, let it grow. It's like, but it gets split ends from time to time, and it's really annoying. Even my hair gets split ends.
And unfortunately, I don't have long hair or beard, so I can offer you no advice.
You're easily maintained.
It is. I'm easily maintained.
So
low maintenance.
You've never had long hair, I'm guessing.
No, I mean the longest hair I've ever had was maybe down to my shoulder length.
Yeah, I've had it.
Hair.
Now it's
well,
it's this.
But nah, I never grew my hair out. I just never had much of a desire to do it. I mean, I always thought it looked cool on other people. It looks great. Especially when you're up, on stage playing and stuff. Headbanging looks awesome. But for me, it was just never something I ever really wanted to do. So I always kept my hair short. I've had the same haircut the last 50 years. So it's just.
I'm not cutting my hair because I'll just look stupid with short hair. Because you can find old pictures of me on my Facebook and no.
Well, on your channel, I think on your channel you had some videos from back when you had shorter hair.
Yeah, because I had it long before, like hair, when I was like 15, and then I did something stupid here. I cut my fringe for no stupid reason, and I had to cut it short again.
How long have you been doing your channel?
I've been doing my channel since, I started it on the 31st of December 2007, but I didn't release any videos until about summer of 2008.
Okay.
Most of them were like film reviews because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my channel, but now I just want to, go watch bands, ask them if they want to be filmed or whatever, do stuff like this, and I thought, I'll just get rid of all the film stuff and just keep all the music stuff.
Cool. Wow, you've been doing this over 10 years. That's great.
Basically, yeah. So it was, what year is it? 2020. So
yeah.
It'll be, because 2017 was is 10th year.
Yep.
2018, that was 11. About 14 years almost. About that.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Never really did many videos because I always just lost interest because I didn't know what to do, and then I was like, "Well, I do like music."
There you go.
I'll just talk about my favorite CDs and film some bands that are up for me filming them or not. A lot of them don't seem to mind because I don't think many people film their sets. Like a lot of the local bands here or from other parts of the UK, they don't get very, very much people filming. I think I'm sleep deprived. I tend to go to bed late as stupid.
It kind of depends for me. Yeah, it depends. I got a good night's sleep, so I'll probably be up late tonight.
Fair. Usually I sleep till about 10 o'clock or something, and I'll get up.
Yeah, I typically can't sleep. I can't sleep in that late. I got a wife and a 16 or 15-year-old son and a dog that runs around here, and somebody always needs something.
What sort of dog is it? What breed?
He's just a terrier mix. We saved him himself. We've had him now about 8 years. But he was a terrier mix. We just got him from a kennel. A kennel that was they needed a home, so we picked him up. His name is Vader. We named him Vader. Nice. But he's a holy terror. That dog. He's mean. He's a terrier, so I think they were bred for like getting rodents and
Yeah.
stuff. He can't be around other animals, other dogs or cats, or he will immediately go at them.
You literally
So
go at them and
he's pretty mean. He's a pretty mean dog, but he's good to us. He's good with us. I mean,
he's fine with people, but he's just not.
Not really.
He's fine with you. He's fine with the people in the house. He's just not fine with. So if your dog saw me, he'll just go for me.
He's probably not. You're probably not going to get too far.
No.
If you try to walk in the house without us having some interaction with you, he's probably not going to let you get too far without biting you or
I've been bit by a dog on my finger when I was a kitten, and no.
Yeah, so no, he's mean though. We got a mean dog. I
Well,
kind of wish he was
if anyone
nice.
tries to break in, you'll just rip their balls off or something.
Boy, he's going to let them know they're not welcome.
You're not welcome. He's like, you're not welcome here. Go, 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 go.
Like you said, we didn't make him that way. That's kind of how we ended up.
Yeah, you said you got a wife and a 15-year-old son.
I do.
I guess then they're not into death metal and metal in general.
Thank goodness, no.
All right, fair enough.
No, my wife.
Because I see couples like metal couples, and they share. Everyone's like, that's got to be a bit difficult because you're all going to the same gigs, and how are you not getting sick of each other and all that? But people make it work.
Oh yeah.
You're in a family where they're like, oh, your dad's just doing his thing.
Exactly right. Now my wife, she knows. I mean, she knows this is my thing. She pretty much leaves me alone with it. She's a good kid, So she
and your son leaves you alone, I guess.
Yeah, he's. I remember he was probably like in about third grade or so when he finally sat me down and told me that he just didn't like metal. He just told me, he sat me down and he just told me, Dad, I don't like metal. I told him he broke my heart. I always hoped I was going to get him into metal, so he could take this over one day and keep the channel going.
You'll find someone, even if I'm like, okay, I'm taking your stuff.
Yeah, I gotta leave it to somebody.
You gotta leave it to somebody. You just don't know who. You can't leave it to your son because he's not into metal. I don't know what's he into.
You know what? He's into he's into a lot of hip hop and stuff like that.
I like old school hip hop. That anything new is just rubbish. I don't listen to hip hop, but there's like the old school ones I actually do like.
Yeah, he's into a lot of other music. I don't care for it.
If he listens to anything mainstream, like mainstream pop music or anything that people everywhere else listens to, not outside the metal community. I mean, I'm just like, well, at least I listen to something that's much better than this.
Yeah, no, he's not he listens. Yeah, I'm. To be honest with you, I hear some of the stuff he listens to. I think it's what is considered hip hop. Again, I don't listen to that music, so I don't know.
So this is what the kids of today are listening to. How about listen to what we're listening to? Because you might actually like it.
Yeah. Well, when he was really young, I was trying to turn him on to metal, and when he was like in first and second grade, he was actually a very big Dio fan. He really liked Dio, and I thought, and I was getting him down that line. But then when he went to school and started hanging out with friends, like you say, he wants to be in the the popular group, so. You got to listen to the popular music, and metal isn't popular.
And the metal kids are not so popular.
No.
Consider the outcasts, the misfits, and
I don't even know if there is. I don't. I asked him.
Misfits.
I even asked him. I said, are there like kids that listen to metal like at your school and stuff? I don't even think I don't know if there are.
He notices is because he's always with his friends and he doesn't know.
Right. That could be. That may be.
That's I'm only just assuming because he's too occupied with his friends or
for sure
his girlfriend if he's got one. I don't know, but
he did. I don't know. I'm not. He's really concentrated. He's an athlete. He's a much better athlete than I ever was. But yeah, he's a basketball player. He's on the high school teams. He plays travel basketball. Nice. He's hoping to make going to college maybe, and hopefully play at in college. So he's very, very concentrated.
Well, good on him. I have to
Yeah.
say, I've watched some NBA games, like the Lakers and that, and I've watched some of that, and I was like, well, I like this because I'm getting into a lot of American sport. I mean, rugby is one of my favourite sport here. I don't like the football here. I'm more of a rugby fan.
Oh, cool.
And Bristol Bears is my main team because I got to see him this year with two mates of mine. My mate Chris, who I mentioned earlier, and my mate Alex, who's the vocalist in Aventel. We went and saw him, and literally got in, got our drinks, got in, and then all of a sudden they scored a try, which is like a touchdown equivalent to the NFL.
Gotcha.
And my favourite NFL team, well, you might think this is a bit okay, blasphemous or whatever. The LA Rams is my team.
Oh, the Rams. Like the Rams.
But I also like
I'm a Bears fan.
I also like the Buccaneers.
I'm a Bears fan, obviously. Being from Chicago,
I like the Bears as well.
Yeah. We got a tough. They got work to do. I don't know. I don't even know if there's going to be a season this year. Who knows? I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I miss sports.
Yeah, I watched the Super Bowl because it was at San Francisco and Kansas, was it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Kansas City. Yeah.
Kansas City. Yeah, I was at my mate Alex's house, so I stayed there and watched the Super Bowl. We had some Bud Light and this South African Baileys that he bought when he went over there in January, because it's hot in South Africa in January.
Wow.
So we're watching that, and well, it's none of the teams we actually support, but we were watching it because it's the Super Bowl, because our team, the Rams, lost against the Patriots the last Super Bowl. Before the one that's just gone. And I was like, okay, someone's going to die. Probably my brain cells because I'm going to get drunk. So I can forget that even happened. Well, I only got into it fully not last year, 2 years ago, because my mate took me to London because they were doing like a big event in Piccadilly Square. Might got that one. No, Piccadilly. Yeah, it's Piccadilly Square or Circle. One of the big places in London. But anyway, it was the teams that were playing London that year. So we had the Jags and the Chargers and the Titans. We went to the Chargers-Titans game. It was an LA team, so then I got to see the Rams last year. And they won. So I was happy.
Awesome. I
was wearing my jersey and everything. But I wasn't wearing full Rams gear. Under my jersey, I was wearing a coffin shirt. So I thought, I still got to have a bit of metal in there. So my favourite Japanese band, put them on.
Cool.
I also like Sabbath from Japan.
Oh, Sabbath, yeah.
Cool. You've got any of their stuff all now?
Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of Sabbath. Yeah, I got CDs, 7 inches.
You got that one.
Sets. Yeah, I got a lot of Sabbath. Yeah, it's a great band. Great band.
Yeah, they're a great band. Coffins, like I mentioned. Vomit Remnants, which is a band. They're great.
Yep, I got some Vomit Remnants here. Defiled. Remember Defiled from Japan? Talk about death metal bands. Yeah, there's a band called Defiled. They were awesome. They were one of my favorite bands from Japan. I
don't think many bands from Japan get recognized because no one thinks Japan does metal.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, I think
look again. There's, like I said, Coffins, Vomit Remnants, and other bands as well.
There's a lot of heavy metal that comes out of Japan.
I've checked out quite a few of them, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah. And I checked out a band from Botswana called Overthrust.
Botswana, huh? Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think Botswana or any place in Africa did metal, and then I just came across this band one day and then checked them out. I was like, wow, these guys are actually really cool. I'll send a link to their first album, their only album. I think they got two out now. I'll send it over and
cool.
So you can have a listen.
Absolutely.
So I was just like, where are these guys from? I was like, Botswana. Really? I didn't
Interesting.
think they do metal. So I checked out a bunch of other bands on this like little documentary that they had, and I was like, whoa, you learn something new every day.
That's cool.
I was just like, and then I went to Downloaders as a festival here in the UK. They don't do many heavy bands. I mean, they've had Dying Fetus once. They get Iron Maiden, they got Slayer. First two times I saw Slayer was 2005 and 7. And then Jeff Hanneman, obviously, you're still alive at that point. So I got to see Slayer with Jeff Hanneman, so I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
And yeah, they had Dying Fetus there. One of my other favourite bands is Gojira. Love them. I know not death metal, but when they were called Godzilla, yeah, they were a death metal band. And I heard the demo stuff, and I was like, I'm sorry, this was Gojira back in the day?
Yeah, it's another one of those bands I've never ventured into.
Yeah, because I never checked out very many French bands, and then I checked out Loud Blast, which is from France.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, these guys are cool. Who likes them? All right, no one I really know likes them. No one I know really likes the band. Well, they do. They just haven't liked the damn page. Or was it unofficial page on Facebook or whatever? Of course, Germany's got a big metal scene. They got quite a few bands. I'm trying to remember some of the top of my head. Flesh Crawl, Morgoth.
Great bands.
And obviously, two of my favourites. I mentioned Austria, like Pungent Stench and Disharmonic Orchestra and Disastrous Murmur and Belphegor. They're more Black Death, but still, they're heavy.
Yeah, good band.
Flesh God Apocalypse from Italy. They're more on the symphonic death metal side, but still great band. I'm trying to think of an old school Italian death metal band. I can't think of any at the moment. Can only think of the brutal. What's that?
There was a band called Sinoth.
Sinoth.
Yeah, they were from Italy. They were cool.
I'll check them out.
Yeah, that's good old school stuff.
I don't think they're Italian. They might be Hideous Divinity. I think they're Italian.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I think they're Italian. Yeah, I've just checked out a bunch of bands from everywhere because I was trying to think where's all these different bands from. I checked out Opeth, and I think that was the first Swedish band I ever heard.
Oh.
I was like, because I saw the video for the Grand Conjuration, and at the time I was like, wow, these guys are great. Where are they from? Sweden. Cool. And found out years later, Gene Hoglan was playing drums on the music video. Because he played 2 sets with Strapping Young Lad and then Opeth because their drummer couldn't do it. And also Bloodbath, there's another Bloodbath.
Oh, yeah.
Another Bloodbath, another Swedish band, another Bloodbath. Oh, God. Bloodbath, another band from Sweden.
And Breeding Death EP was pretty heavy.
Yeah. And also, because I was going to mention this because we mentioned Autopsy. A lot of the Swedish death metal bands were influenced by them because of Autopsy's sound on their first album, Severed Survival, because it had that sort of same tone that they went with.
Yep.
And a lot of them were like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I'm sure Autopsy was a huge influence on many bands.
A lot of the Swedish bands, a lot of other bands are influenced on me for my death metal band I'm trying to sort out. And a band from Norway called Obliteration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard them. Yep.
I'm saying question mark because it's either Obliteration or something else.
Yeah, I think you're right. Obliteration.
Yeah, I was right. Obliteration. Yeah. If you listen to their album, Downly released, this one's like 2016 or something. It's very Autopsy worship
laden. Yeah.
It's a homage because they just got that sound.
Yeah,
they're amazing. I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, I think Autopsy is responsible for a lot of influence.
Definitely, because I'm gonna when I get Chris on here.
No, I can't. I can't wait for that. I look forward to seeing
we're just gonna chat for ages about not just his band, but horror films and other stuff. Because when I watched his live stream with Cam, I mean, his audio kept breaking out and kept going mute and everything. They were talking about horror films.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, do you like
Yeah,
horror films? You a horror film fan?
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's the genre I pretty much stick with when it
I
comes to
think
movies.
that's the case with metalheads. You
Yeah,
listen to metal and you watch horror films. But
absolutely.
then me, it's metal and horror films. But
Yeah,
as a kid, it was Queen and other stuff I was listening to, and Disney films.
yeah,
I'm still a
yeah.
Disney fan. If anyone thinks that's not metal, then you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, no, that's my preferred genre
Yeah,
of
horror's my
movie.
preferred genre.
I always go to either a good horror movie or a thriller or something like that. I'm not really into comedies and stuff like that. I
I
don't
like
really get into
comedies because I
comedies.
grew up watching comedies with. Well, one of the films I watched with my dad, one of my favorite comedies ever, is from 1989. So when you got into tape trading, was Uncle Buck.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know
He
if I've ever actually seen that movie, to be honest
talking
with you.
about John Candy is like,
John Candy, yeah. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen the DVD or the video or whatnot, and I know of it. I don't think I've ever
yeah, 'cause
actually
I
watched
found
it.
out as well John Candy was in a horror movie back in 1976. And I can't
Really?
remember what the film's called.
Oh,
I was just like, John Candy's in a horror film?
I'm sure if you Google it, I'm
What?
sure you'll find it.
What? But it's not a big total surprise because a lot of those actors would have starred in low budget horror films or something. Back in the
Yeah,
day, a lot of them would have. I don't think
sure.
John Belushi did, but one of my favourite comedies from the 70s, the late 70s specifically, is Animal House.
Oh yeah,
I
I've seen that.
just like it when he smashes the guitar and says sorry.
That's an American classic.
I love
You know.
it because I
Yeah.
had it on VHS somewhere because I had a whole TV and I had a bunch of VHS tapes and I was like, I was put on Animal House. This is funny because it's got Kevin Bacon in it, who was also in a horror movie called Friday the 13th.
Oh,
He gets the arrow through the neck.
oh yeah. Yeah.
That was one of his earlier films. Well, Animal House, he's also in that.
Right.
He's in the house that's rival to Animal House.
Yep.
I think it was called. I think the house was actually Animal House, and they called it a different house. I haven't seen the film in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for
And
me.
and I found out something about it as well. You know when he punches his cheeks and the food comes out of his mouth?
Mhm.
That was improvised.
Yeah.
No one knew that was happening. But when he did it, everyone is just generally annoyed with him and wanted to hit him literally when the film was rolling. But they said,
That's cool.
let John Belushi do what he needs to do. And obviously his brother's an actor, James Belushi.
Yep.
And obviously they share the same friends like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and all that. I mean, they're more comedy actors, but I'm trying to think of horror film actors like Kane Hodder, who played Jason in Part 7, 8 of Friday the 13th, and Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, which is a terrible film, but is entertaining.
Right.
But I've watched all the Friday the 13th films, really. I think the ones you got to go with is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I think that's how it's meant to end.
Right.
Jason was supposed to die in 4.
Yep.
And Corey Feldman obviously picks up the machete and whacks it in his head.
Yep.
Not the actual actor who was playing him, who was a stuntman for like John Wayne and all that back in the 50s.
I think that's the thing for me. It's like when I watch a movie, I want to be entertained. I want to step outside of reality.
Yeah, that's what I
So
do. That's why I listen to music.
that's why I think I like the horror genre because
That's why I like horror films, because
yeah.
I mean, a lot of it could be based on real life instances and murders and stuff you don't know. But a lot of it's just pure fiction. So like with Friday the 13th, that's just pure bloody fiction.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I tend towards those. It
And
just gets me out of reality for a couple hours.
Great as well. Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead. Watched all the Alien films. I mean, Alien, the first one, that's just straight up sci-fi horror. And I remember being scared of it, especially when John Hurt dies. As the xenomorph pop out of his chest. And surprisingly with that scene, no one knew that was happening either. Because they all came in confused because there was like shitting everywhere because there was going to be a lot of blood.
Yeah.
It was just like, Like,
Great movies.
and Veronica Cartwright, who plays Lambert in the film, she's an American actress, but she was actually born here. But then, because her dad and mum, I think, were like the Air Force or something, so they were stationed here for a while, and then she was born and they moved to America, back to America. So she was born here, but obviously grew up in America.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, she a Bristolian? Nah, she moved back to the States when she was young. Okay, but she was born in Bristol, so that makes her a Bristolian in my eyes.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, hey Jake, I got to start cutting out.
Yeah.
I got to get moving on here, but I just want to say thanks.
Yeah, no problems.
For having me on and for the chat. Really enjoyed it.
If people want to find your channel, all they got to do is type Ken's Death Metal Crypt, really, isn't it? To find the channel. So check out his channel, people. Check out the bands that he was shown if you so want to check out the bands. They're all on his, most of them on his channel. There's a Rotrevor and Cyanide and
loads of them.
There's a load of bands I can't think of the top of my head anymore.
Lots of old school death metal. So if that's your thing, you definitely
various parts of America.
Definitely want to check it out.
He's not just into American bands; he's also into the bands we were just talking about. So British bands. I mentioned Benediction as well, which is alongside Bolt Throw, Napalm Death, and all that. And
thanks again, Jake. I really do appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for joining me on the 10th episode.
Oh, you are most welcome. And again, to anybody and everybody watching, if you're subscribed to the channel, thank you.
Yeah, subscribe to Ken's channel and show him your support. I know he's like, well, you're going to thank him anyway, but thank the bands that's on his channel who brought out that music in the first place.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, is getting those exposed. That's why I started the channel, Jake, was get these gems exposed to, especially to the younger generation that, didn't get a chance to hear them when they were released. So that's the whole point of it.
That's just myself. I didn't know any of these bands until I've actually just started looking.
Yeah.
Like,
and exactly what you're saying is, the whole reason I started it, and you saying that is, my mission has been accomplished.
Yeah, because there's people who are going to, like, people later on in life, like in later generations, who are like, they'll see this and think, what the hell are they talking about? I'm listening to whichever band it is now, and I'm wearing Hellhammer, you're wearing Damage, the band you're wearing. And the other bands we were just showing, like, these bands, like, these were bands when I was a young twat. But anyway, thanks, Ken. I'll let you get on with your day, and it's 8 o'clock here for me now.
All right, Jake. I appreciate it once again. Thanks again, man. We'll talk real soon then.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try and get you and Cam on a chat together, so we can just have a three-way chat of metal.
That would be awesome. I'd be all for that, man.
Definitely. So,
all right. Thanks again, man.
Take care of yourself, Ken, and your family.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
That was Ken, people. I forgot to ask him how he says his last name. He's going to probably make an audio thing, but thank you for tuning in. I'm just turning the light on. Oh, okay. Should have turned those on a bit earlier. No, Monday. Thanks for tuning in to this video. Might be uploading it today or tomorrow. I have to let him know beforehand. Wednesday, this is confirmed. I have Chris Wyford from Autopsy. At the time I've just finished is that. I've just gone 1 minute past 8 here in the UK. Shut up. And we're going to be talking pretty much the same things: metal, horror films, pretty much anything people want to hear. And I'm getting sick of this iCloud thing. Again, thank you. There'll be more Jake's Metal Chat Wednesday, 8 p.m. here, so it'll be 12 p.m. in San Francisco and California. And more CD collection videos, obviously. CD collection videos. Local bands, I'll just plug them in again. Embodiment and DSL Custom. So I'll go plug my boys. Same with Ascaris. I'll put that CD out next time. Yeah, good shot now. Let people go on their days, and I'll see you on Wednesday.